Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the live show. We are back after, well, a week, but some of you have been hearing my voice for about a week and a half now through our audio broadcasts. But anyway, this is Starlight Beacon Transmissions, and this is episode 80. Yes, the main show has turned 80. Wow, that's weird to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty soon you're gonna have 100 episodes.
Yes, and you will have been here for quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And okay, is that well, let me introduce ourselves first and then I'll ask this question. Uh my name is Eric Mitchell. I am one of your hosts and joining me as always, well, not as always, but quite a few times. Whenever
Only a
they
couple
can.
times.
Whenever they can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Faye. Faye, welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
Oh, okay, so I have to ask this before we say what tonight's show is about. Is that a goblet, pretty much?
This is, in fact, an Arabic tasting glass. I've
Ooh,
got like a full set with the pitcher, with the platter, with like 6 little glasses. It's
nice,
wonderful.
nice. So like you can have personal tastings, I guess, with wine and stuff.
Yes, I very frequently attend brewing competitions where like this is my little tasting glass. And then
Nice.
I'll rinse it out between tries, and then if I need to clear everything out, have a saltine cracker and water.
There you go. There you go. But you don't mix the saltine cracker in the water, right?
No, no,
No.
the
Okay.
saltine cracker just helps clear out the flavor of all the tannins or acids. So, yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And what are we drinking this evening?
This is a Sicilian red wine with a very berry flavor, but it's still fairly dry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Ooh, wine. Ooh.
I don't drink like a 22-year-old though.
Me, I'm like a beer guy. I'm just like, where's the beer? I mean, I drink some wine. I do. Sorry. I do like some wine. So, some of it's good. Yeah. But I'm more of a beer guy. I'll drink scotch occasionally. But yeah.
Yeah.
Evening, Eric. Can you touch up my volume? Yes. Can you hear me? I hope that you all can hear me. All right, let's do this. So we have a fun show this evening. We have yet a lot to talk about again because apparently it just feels like everything hits all at the same time.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels like there's just some weeks where it's just slow and we're just like scrounging for news. But then you get weeks like this week.
Yeah. It's just I've been working on a paper most of this week, so I haven't been checking Twitter, but I keep on I'll like pop into the server and just see like a wall of messages that are just updates. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. It's just we are constantly posting updates in the server because it's just like we got to keep track.
yeah.
Yeah. So tonight we are talking about let's see here. We are going to be talking about um the High Republic Convergence. That will be a spoiler-free review, by the way. We're going to have some more fun with Cassie and Andor. And we're going to be talking about the return of the king. Um, because you're a Disney fan. Like you love the parks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I don't go to the parks very often because I'm not in the location for it, but I
Same.
Disney was most of my childhood.
Yeah, like most of us, Disney
Yeah.
was a big part. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the return of Bobby Iges. That's what I call him, and the return of IgerCon. That's what I call D23. Um, and then we have a few more other things to talk about. Let's get to the announcements, and then we are going to run down some news. No live show next week due to my wife and I taking a few days to go to Ocean City Comic Con. That is next weekend. Super excited about it. But don't worry, we're going to be posting pictures and stuff on Facebook. Well, yeah, we have Facebook now, by the way. Um, we're going to be posting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Hive whenever they decide to bring that back up. Um, because they're doing maintenance on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we're excited. It's going to be a fun weekend. I get to go back to my hometown for a couple of days, possibly play some miniature golf, and yeah, just act a fool in my old hometown and get some delicious pizza on Friday night. I'm so excited. There's this pizza place in my old hometown that's just amazing. It's called Mioni's. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Um,
So good.
See, our really good pizza place closed down over the pandemic, but it got
Oh.
replaced by a super good pasta place. So we
Ooh.
still came on top.
Yeah, if there I mean, I love pizza, but I am a sucker for good pasta too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when we went and saw Black Panther, we went to this pizza place right by the movie theater called Coal Fire, and that was so
Hmm.
good. Oh, so good. But we're not here to talk about food.
No, we're
We are
not.
we're here to talk about Star Wars and stuff. We are still trying to plan our Life Day RPGs, and we are also for our Discord server members, we're working on a little holiday party for you all. That way we can all just hang out, watch some goofy Christmas movies. Probably going to be Christmas Vacation again, because it's just fun.
Yeah,
Mom and pop restaurants are the best. Yes, they are, Farm Boy. Yes, they are,
they
buddy.
really are.
Yes. And that's it for the announcements. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get to the news. Let's briefly talk about convergence.
Yes.
Okay. I want to hear because you're about 4 hours into the audiobook.
Yeah, I think I was just finishing up on chapter 10 when I finally pulled into my apartment.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts so far?
Uh, I really like it because it shows how a lot of this war is perpetuated by propaganda and by forcing hatred between the two groups. So once you
Mhm.
are actually forced to meet with them on a human level, it's changing people's perspectives on things.
Yeah.
And I do like that despite having two chancellors who are supposedly working together, there's still a little bit of friction and conflict between the two, which is very fun to see. I personally am a huge fan of disaster human Axel Greylark. Um, the one thing I was told going in was that the blurb kind of spoils the first 40% of the book, and I can kind of see it, but I liked seeing how things are fitting together.
Yeah. Chapter 10 is pretty much the turning point in this novel. Um,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, everyone is currently gearing up for the peace talks,
Yeah.
and based on what we know of Ziri's dad, I don't think they're gonna go well, but that's just me.
I will say this, I finished it last night. Um, in fact, like I laid down to like start reading about what was it, about 8 o'clock? Yeah, it was about 8 o'clock last night. And I'm like, yeah, I'll read a few more chapters and everything. And I had like 100 pages left, and then I just kept reading because like it kept getting better and better and better. And then like my wife comes to bed and she's just like, why aren't you asleep yet?" And I'm like, "I'm just gonna power through these last few chapters. Like, I have like 40 more pages to go. Like, let's do it." So
Yeah,
I love the book. It's fantastic. Welcome to the High Republic, Zoraida Cordova. Um,
yeah,
I still need to
I
read Crash of Fate, but go ahead.
yeah. She is hitting all the things I like about Star Wars, so I'm enjoying what I'm reading. I know some people didn't enjoy the pacing whatsoever,
Mhm.
but so far, I think everything is going at the pace it needs to go.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the pacing for the like pretty much the Rising Storm and the Fallen Star, where it started off very slow
Yeah,
and then like it picks up towards the middle and towards the end, just like those books did. So
yeah,
um, no, just keep at it. I will tell you there are some great twists and turns, and there's a reveal that has nothing to do with any characters whatsoever. It's just this interesting tidbit that she throws in there that I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense when it comes to something. So I'm not going to give it away.
I
You'll,
I can't wait to see.
yes. I mean, it's like something really, really small, but like it stood out to me in like a big, big way. Um, so yeah, Zoraida Cordova. Um, read, get this book, read it. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. And come on, how can you not love that cover?
Yeah,
Like, how can you not love that cover? I don't know. The Axel Greylark cover for Cataclysm's pretty cool too.
yeah, they go together pretty well.
Yes. So real quick, I wanted to just throw something out here. So my wife went shopping for some stuff today. She was running errands pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And she goes to Target and she she actually picked up a couple of things for me, which I thought was
Ooh.
really, really nice. One of them is my boy Tarkin. This is the Black Series Archive Tarkin, and it comes with
At him.
the yes, and it comes with the probe droid or the mind probe, I should say.
See, I was about to ask, does he come with a mouse droid?
No, no, he doesn't.
I think it would be funnier if he comes with a mouse droid.
Yeah, I thought it would be great if he came with a mouse droid, but no, he comes with a little Doctor Ball here.
Hmm.
Um, I'd like to think of this droid as the one that is in Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
even if it doesn't really fit with the timeline super well,
Yeah,
it's cute.
yeah. So he's our little psychiatry droid from Alphabet Squadron. Just
Yeah.
and then this is something that we are gonna be opening up very, very soon. I have had a hard time finding Star Wars trading cards from
Ooh.
Topps, right? My wife hit the jackpot. We got some Star Wars trading cards that we're going to open up. Not tonight, but at some point very, very soon. You get these are Book of Boba Fett. Well, they're Star Wars trading cards, but they're Book of Boba Fett themed. And it comes with 10 packs plus one commemorative patch card. So that would be really, really cool. So I can't wait to open these up eventually. All right. Sorry about that. I just wanted to point that out. Let's see here. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is coming to Xbox Game Pass this month, and I don't think you have an Xbox, do you?
No,
Okay.
I only have my little laptop to game on.
Okay. No, that's cool. Yeah, so Lego Skywalker Saga is coming to Xbox Game Pass. If you're unfamiliar with Xbox Game Pass, it's this wonderful service where they put all of these fantastic like AAA titles as well as indie titles on there that you can play for free for $15 a month for the Ultimate membership, which includes your console, PC, and cloud, which is really cool.
Ooh,
And Yeah, so like you can play Skywalker Saga on your phone or your tablet.
that is so cool.
Yeah. With like a controller, or if it has touchscreen controls, you can just play it on your phone or your tablet like that way. You can even hook up your controller to your laptop via Bluetooth or with a USB cable and like do it that way. So really, really cool. Um, so excited for Skywalker Saga. It was such a fun game and such a great love letter to the saga. And how do you feel about Skywalker Saga? You might have seen clips or whatever.
Excited. I'm very much excited for the Thrawn Lego.
Yes. Or would that be a
Uh,
Thrago?
I like Thrago.
Thrago? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'll be really cool.
yeah.
And then the Andor pack just hit, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah. So like the first packs that they had when the game first launched, they had like Solo, Bad Batch, and like a few others. So it was really cool to
Hmm.
play as young Han Solo. And then I think you get that Millennium Falcon too. I think.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was a
with
lot. Huh?
the cape closet.
I wish. That's the sad part about it, though. Like, you can't explore the inside of that Millennium Falcon.
Tragic.
It is tragic.
I just want to see Lando's clothing.
Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just want to see his clothing too because he's got some really nice threads. That's all I'm gonna say.
He does.
Yeah. So so we have that coming this month. That'll be a lot of fun. Oh, Joey. Oh, Joey was so excited. He got so excited. He's like, Eric, Skywalker Saga is coming to Game Pass. Skywalker Saga is coming to Game Pass. I'm like, okay, Joey. Okay, calm down, bud. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's see here. Let's continue on. So, let's start with this. There's a little show that has been on the air for a couple of seasons now. And
Yeah.
um do you want to take this one?
Yes, I guess so. So this little show that, has been on Disney Plus for a couple of seasons has finally announced its season 3 release date. That's right. We're coming back to The Mandalorian to see
Oh,
the little green child that we all
oh,
love.
I thought that we were talking about Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Guess not.
Guess not. No, we're gonna see the little green child again. More fun though. We're gonna see Bo Katan.
We are going to see Bo-Katan, and this is primarily going to be about the liberation of Mandalore and the future of the dark saber. It looks like.
Does, and I am looking forward to it.
That's right, because you were at Celebration, right?
No, I'm
No.
going to next celebration.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I got confused. My
That's
bad.
all right. I was at a convention the same exact weekend, so people always get confused by that.
Nice. Um, I'm okay. I'm excited that the Mandalorian is back, but I think we all know my thoughts on Grogu.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that him coming back for season three makes season two's arc feel a little less worth it.
It does. It does not feel earned at all.
It doesn't,
No,
and that ties in very much with my thoughts on Book of Boba Fett, where you should not have used it as a backdoor pilot for season three.
nope. But that's what they did.
Yeah,
It's really funny because Book of Boba Fett gets backdoor piloted in season two of The Mandalorian, and then pretty much the premiere of season three of The Mandalorian gets backdoored into Book of Boba Fett. And to me, that's just not fair.
yeah,
Like,
it's to the detriment of both stories, I think.
yeah, it is. But our little green friend is coming back. Okay, I will say this. That Grogu short that Studio Ghibli did was absolutely freaking adorable. I will say
It
that.
was.
I will say that. If you want to give me more animated Grogu in that style, I'm okay with it. But do it sporadically.
I liked how this was done. A little 3 minute short with like
Mhm.
a day's warning.
Yeah, exactly. But I am going to watch The Mandalorian for the Mandalore story. I'm not watching it for Grogu.
Yeah,
Yes. Um, so I'm not going to hate watch this show. Like Faye and I aren't going to hate watch the show. I'm just going to say that right now. But
I
we're going to
don't
have
think it's
criticisms.
possible for me to hate watch.
You mean the John Favreau, Dave Filoni action figure mashing hour?
No.
No, I mean we're excited. It's going to be
Yeah,
fun. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun season, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
yeah.
All right, let's move on here to. Oh, we have a look at Hidden Empire number two. If if you don't know what this is a mini series that's going on. This is pretty much the end of the Kira trilogy.
Basically, yes. And I'm looking forward to it. I like seeing Kira's rise and fall,
Me
and
too.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Gordon, greetings. Oh, by the way, my buddy Gordon just hopped into chat here. He and I recorded a transmissions burst for all of you that will be coming up very soon, probably over the holidays. We just talked about collecting and just being fans and everything. And it was such a great time. So look forward to that very soon. Sorry, just wanted to plug that real quick.
That's the bursts are really fun to listen to.
Yeah,
So if you want to listen to Starlight Beacon's transmissions in an audio only format, check out our burst.
yes, and I know that you are going to be joining me for some bursts coming up in the new year as well.
Yes.
Um, oh man, I'm so excited. We're going to have so much fun with these. Like they're going to be so much fun. Um, yes, so we have that, but yes, Kira's rise and fall is happening. Well, this is more of her fall now with Hidden Empire.
Yes.
We are starting to see Crimson Dawn pretty much become shattered.
Yeah, and a big and this was heavily implied at I think in the first issue of the Crimson Dawn comic book series. So it's really fun to just see every domino start to fall.
Yeah, it really is. And if there's one thing that Faye and I absolutely love in Star Wars stories, it's criminal underground stories. We love these stories.
There's a reason Terrace Nube is my favorite Jedi.
Yes. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, can't wait for this. Read this book. But I would suggest reading War of the Bounty Hunters first. then Crimson
Yes.
Reign, and then reading Hidden Empire. All written by Charles Soule, who has had a hell of a few years in Star Wars comics and books.
Yeah, Charles Soule, I have not seen a bad one yet.
Yeah. Have you met Charles? Quick side note.
No. I have asked Tommy to be put on his list of enemies for killing Yora Mali,
Okay. Okay. I get it. I
but I
get it.
have not met him yet. I will meet him at Celebration, and god dang it, I am going to show up as the character he killed and look at him in the eyes and say, "Why did you do this?"
Why did you kill me? Was there anybody have any questions? Yeah, I have two. First off, how dare you? Second, was there a version of the draft where I survived the Battle of the Kerr Nebula?
I really want to know.
Yeah. He's probably like, nah, I planned to kill Yora the whole time.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Just like Kevin with Loden Greatstorm. Spoilers
The
from
turn,
phase one.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I met Charles a couple of times at Baltimore Comic Con, and I gotta tell you, he is such a nice freaking guy. Like, super, super nice.
Yeah,
So,
I genuinely like I talk about him being my enemy as a joke. While for other authors it is very much not a joke.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even though these people have killed some of our favorite characters, like, we can't hold it. And we can't hold them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So check out Hidden Empire after you read War of the Bounty Hunters and Crimson Reign. Super fun series here. All right. So let's talk about. We'll tie this into our main topic of the evening just for a little bit, and then we'll go back to some other topics here. There's a quiz on. Hey, Jane, how's it going? There's a quiz on StarWars.com, and this was like one of my favorite quizzes in a while. Which Andor character are you?
Yeah, Mon Mothma.
You got Mon Mothma?
I did.
I got Luthen. Yeah, I got Luthen. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, this guy is awesome.
I got it, and I was just like, okay, they're telling me I'm a slave.
Oh, you slay, just like Mon Mothma. Just saying.
Yes.
Uh, we're gonna get into Andor here in a little bit, but yeah, Mon Mothma is very fitting for you. That's all I'm gonna
Uh,
say.
and it's just a very fun little quiz to do. I like doing these sorts of things.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things about going to StarWars.com is just seeing all these ridiculous quizzes that you can play or that you can
Yeah.
do. Like they had like which Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation character are you? Like like
See,
all
the one
these.
that I wanted to get would definitely not be in it because I wanted to be the shirtless Trandoshan.
You wanted to be the shirtless Trandoshan.
Yes.
I wanted to be Hawaiian shirt Obi-Wan just so I could sing Gamorrean girls and Gamorrean guys.
That will obviously be at our little holiday party. We're
Yeah,
gonna do karaoke of Gamorrean girls.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Um,
Yeah.
or I wanted to be Weird Al's character from Scarif Beach Party. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to be all the secondary characters. I don't care about the main character. I mean, I do care about the main characters, but
But like, we love Glupshinos in this fandom.
oh
Let
yeah,
us be a Glupshino.
yeah. Let us enjoy the Glup Shittos. Um, so that's a fun little quiz to take. So let's shift real quick from Star Wars. Let's talk about something that dropped this week, the other day. Our favorite fedoraed archaeologist is back for one more movie.
Just one more. Yep.
This
Uh,
is,
I
yeah, go ahead.
I watched the trailer as soon as it like came out, and I was just like, on the one hand, he is one of the guys who got me into my field of study,
Hmm.
uh, because archaeology and linguistics are sister fields.
Yes,
However, I'm just like, we could have I'm not a fan of the digital de-aging. I feel like this is a should have recast sort of thing for young indie.
it should have been Alden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, because I just generally have an ethical issue with the de-aging of actors
Hmm.
and digitally recreating faces. I can understand it for like the brief bits of Tarkin that we see in Rogue One, but
Yeah.
if we do whole movies and whole episodes of show with de-aging, it gets to the point where you have to ask the question, at what point does a company just own your face forever?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. And I have an issue with the de-aging thing too. Um, don't get me wrong, like it works for some stuff. Like Tarkin was really well done in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Very well done. Luke in Book of Boba Fett was not done well. Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War done well. Michael Douglas at the beginning of Ant-Man and the Wasp, or no, at the beginning of Ant-Man, done very well. I mean, even in Endgame, it's done very well. However, with this, you're right. They could have just recasted. You had Alden right there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like we've seen that Alden can really nail the mannerisms of Harrison Ford.
Hmm.
Yes, we know that Harrison Ford is just indie flat out,
Yeah,
but it gets into this huge ethical question surrounding CGI and actors.
that is very true. I will also say this. This trailer doesn't really give anything away, which is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, my current theory is that it's going to do like a little parallel timeline between the 40s and then present day, but
Yeah.
not sure.
Uh, we're getting time travel in this. We're getting time travel.
Yeah.
They're going Star Trek 4 on us.
I liked the idea of parallel
Yeah.
stories because it works better than time travel, especially in Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Um I don't know. I mean, I will say this, the cast looks very good.
Hmm.
Um I I will also say this. James Mangold directed one of my favorite movies with Logan, so I know like he can give Indy one final adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which if you haven't seen Logan, do yourself a favor and watch that movie.
especially because one of the actors for Acolyte is going to be in it, and so you get a wonderful idea of her chops.
Yes. Oh, well, you know what? Let me say when Indiana Jones is coming out, and then we'll go
Yes.
on there. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is going to be hitting theaters June 30th of this upcoming summer. Super excited about that. That's going to transition us into a little TV show that they're working on. Faye, take it away. G-
Ah, so we got more stuff about the Acolyte. They were talking about the Acolyte being the first Sith-led Star Wars story. We're going to be exploring how the Sith sort of infiltrated both the Jedi Order and the Republic,
hmm
and start to see how we things led to Darth Plagueis and Palpatine. Good old Rupelt.
So I do have a question here though. Like she
Hmm.
says it's the first Sith-led story. However, th- I believe this is the first Sith-led live action story because Lords of the Sith is a Sith-led story and it is canon.
That is true. I don't think it's entirely Sith led because we're also following around Cham Syndulla and
Yeah,
his little free Ryloth movement.
yeah.
I also I Lords of the Sith is like the only canon Star Wars book I dislike because you cannot make Palpatine a character. He is in fact a plot point that just happens to you, and so having narration from his perspective is just not very compelling.
Yeah, that was before we get back to the Acolyte. That was one of my issues with Tarkin. Was like when they narrated Palpatine, and I'm like, I don't care what Palpatine's doing right now. Like, this is about
Yeah,
Tarkin. Like, I don't need to see Palpatine in a Tarkin book.
yeah, and that's why I'm just like, don't try to make Palpatine a character. He is a plot point.
Yes,
That is just the doylist approach to it.
yes. So let's get to the Acolyte here. I want to do some speculation here because we've been speculating about this a little bit. But this ends with Plagueis, does it not?
I do think that we're gonna end up seeing like a teenage Plagueis, just based off of like the dates there and how long he seems to live in the Darth Plagueis novel. But from what
Mhm.
I've heard, I haven't actually read Plagueis yet. Forgive me.
No, it's fine. I'm actually about to start cracking it open myself. So, yeah.
Yes. I'm nearly done with the canon read, which means I think the first thing I'm hitting is Plagueis.
Uh, it's a good one. I will say this: there are Sith-led books in Legends that are a little overhyped and a little overrated. As much as I enjoyed the Darth Bane trilogy, it is highly overhyped.
Yeah, I've been recommended the Darth Bane trilogy a lot, but I think I'm more interested in going back all the way back in the timeline of Legends
Hmm.
and reading Into the Void.
Tim Lebanon knocked it out of the friggin' park with that book.
I want to see the Jedi.
Hmm.
I think that is going to be so cool to read about.
Yeah, I would do that, and I would do Lost Tribe of the Sith, which is a collection of short stories from John Jackson Miller.
Okay,
Yeah, I would do that, Plagueis, and Lost Tribe of the Sith. You're Luthen. Gordon got Luthen also. Oh, that's great.
I love it.
Yes, that's amazing. Um, but yeah, like in I love this idea of this being a Sith-led story.
I do too. I know we're going to be following a Padawan and like Jedi investigators as well,
Hmm.
but with it being about the dark side of the Force and all the things that come with it, it's gonna be so fun to see.
Yeah. Question: do you think we'll see Exegol in this series?
My lore is failing me. Could you remind me who Exegol is?
Exegol is the planet of the Sith from Rise of Skywalker.
Ooh. I think we might see glimpses or at least hear references to it.
Hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna see it itself.
Yeah,
However, I would be very hyped to hear the Sith language.
I would love that. I would also love to see the Sith dagger get made.
Ooh, that would be really fun.
Yeah, the one that Ochi uses. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Another very fun thing to hear about would be if we get a reference to Darth Nihilus. Uh,
yes.
there is actually like an in-universe debate over Nihilus's speech, whether
Hmm.
it's like the unfiltered language of the Force, or if it is in fact just a really weird dead language. Uh, and I want to hear people talk about it.
No, I think that that would be interesting. No, Exegol and the Acolyte from the spoiler friends I follow. Okay. Um, never mind. But it's fun to speculate.
Yeah,
Um,
speculation's fun.
yeah, it is, as long as you do it responsibly.
Yeah. And I think the speculation is important as long as you don't let the speculation overhype the show for yourself, because
Exactly.
that's what we see from a lot of these hyper negative reactions to
Hmm.
Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, well, it also all started, it stems from those ridiculous Snoke theories that we got after The Force Awakens hit. Um,
Yeah,
and now,
a lot of it is also like people want to have a reason to complain about Kathleen Kennedy
yeah.
because of misogyny. So, uh, people cannot approach things with a positive mindset, it seems
No,
like.
no. All I'm going to say, Gordon and I talked about this earlier. Well, we pretty much paraphrased this, and I love this. Like, shut up and just enjoy it. Just
Yeah,
seriously, just shut up and enjoy it. It's brand new Star Wars. Like, just open your mind. And hey, if it's something that eventually you don't like, that's fine. And it's fine to have valid criticisms on it. Like, we criticize the Book of Boba Fett. It's still a fun
yeah,
show, it's still entertaining.
yeah. Like my issues are just like it should have had more Tamura Morrison, and
Yeah,
it should have focused on that instead
yeah,
of Mando season 3.
exactly. So, like, do that, but, you know, be critical, but do it in a way that isn't insulting to the fans that enjoy it and isn't insulting to the people that are working hard to bring you the story.
Yes,
So the Acolyte will be hitting late 2023 from what we're hearing, and that cast is huge. We are super excited for it.
I am so looking forward to it.
It's more High Republic content, and we get into Sith stuff, and I am all for getting into some Sith stuff. So,
Yes.
so let's move on here to our next topic. Um, let's talk about a little thing that also was revealed this week. You know about a little game called Jedi Fallen Order?
I've heard about it.
You've heard about it?
Yes.
We got the cover to the new book that Sam Maggs is writing, Jedi Battle Scars.
And oh my gosh.
That's right.
So this cover, it reminds me of a whole lot of the old style Legends covers where you have all the little portraits of everyone on it, but the color story is really cool with the
Yeah.
Inquisitors taking up most of the cover with the shadow of red. I cannot wait.
Yes. I can't wait either. The entire Mantis crew is back, which I'm so excited to see. Of course, how can you not love our little boy BD1?
Yeah. I can't wait to meet the whole crew because I cannot play Fallen Order. However, I
Oh,
can read the book.
yes. You you're gonna instantly fall in love with this crew.
I think I will, yeah.
Yeah. And you are gonna love Cal Kestis. Like I really, but I see you being more of a Night Sister Marin fan, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I like the weird force shit,
Yep.
and that's what Night Sister magic is.
Yes. Is very weird shit. Indeed. So this book, let me see here. It is
I have the article up.
March 7th. March 7th is when it comes out. 6 days after The Mandalorian season 3.
I know what I'm going to be prioritizing, and it will be Battle Scars.
I'll be prioritizing Battle Scars too. So this is going to be a prequel to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is going to be the sequel to Fallen. Actually, technically, this is the sequel to Fallen Order, and
Yeah.
Survivor is the sequel to this. So,
hmm
uh,
Because Battlescars takes place in between to tell us how we get to Jedi Survivor.
Yes, yes, it does, and I can't wait. It's gonna be if there's one thing that Star Wars books have done lately, it's they're gonna put you on an emotional roller coaster and tell you to hang on.
That's just how it has been.
Yes. To quote Abby, Star Wars is Spain without the S.
Yeah,
It's pain. So we are super excited for Battle Scars to be coming. And what a great title. What a great freaking title.
it's so perfect because I have had the ending of Order spoiled for me. And with
Oh,
how that game lets off, it is so fitting.
yes. So we're gonna stick to Star Wars real quick, and then we have another topic to talk about, and then we're gonna dive in to our main topic, which is gonna be we're gonna be talking about Andor some more. So get ready. So our next Star Wars topic that also isn't a Star Wars topic, but is a Star Wars topic, depending on how you look at it. Ray Skywalker was at Lucasfilm the other day for brunch. What do you?
Which,
Yeah,
like, we've heard rumors talking about returning to the sequel era,
yep,
and I think that there are plenty of stories that need to be told. Uh, because I mean, we need something to fill in the sort of plot gaps that happens between the different
yes,
directors in the movies. And
yes,
I mean, that's what the Clone Wars did with
hmm
the prequels. The Clone Wars TV show helped make people love the prequels that much
yeah,
more. And the sequels deserve that treatment.
yeah, they do. Resistance does a great job of starting to fill in a lot of the gaps and start to world build the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
Resistance does it. Yeah,
the thing that shoots it, unfortunately, is the animation style. Lots of people don't like it. For me, it looks flat, but that's
hmm
why just so well I do it, and so I listen to the story.
yeah, yeah. So let's for those of you that don't know, Daisy Ridley has been posting a lot on her Instagram lately, and go follow her if you're a fan of hers.
Yes.
She she
So
posted. Yeah, go ahead.
it was great to see her come back to social media
Yeah,
because a lot of the response to Rise of Skywalker had her delete her social media.
yes,
So
and
it's
that
good to
is
see her back. I don't want to see any one of you in her comments speaking terribly to her. I
we will find out where each one of you live, and we will beat the crap out of you, Jay and Silent Bob style.
we are not going to find where people
I
live.
know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're
I
not gonna do that.
know it's bad PR.
It is. It is. Disney's probably like, well, we're not inviting these guys to anything.
Yeah.
If Ray
The only
returns.
addresses that deserve to get leaked to the internet are those of Supreme Court justices.
Yes, that's true. Um, so so Rachel, who's another one of our team members, one of our hosting members, is in chat, and she says, "If Ray returns, I will be absolutely the most annoying person on the planet." Just an FYI.
I'm with you there, actually.
So okay, this reel that she posted is actually just a picture of Yoda in the Lucasfilm lobby. And she has this caption that says, "I'm just here for brunch. No need to look any further." Which this to me, okay, I'm going to speculate here, but this to me pretty much means, hey, I just signed an NDA agreement for the next film, so I can't say shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, my wife just brought it up. Like, it could be a television project, a short, it could be anything that she just signed an NDA for. But that's what I'm reading is that she signed something and she can't talk about it.
Yeah. And I would not be surprised if it was another film because Disney has not been putting out many films, and they know that they need to do it because lots of people have also been complaining about, since everything is coming out on Disney Plus, people who don't want to get the subscription are
Yeah.
unable to watch the new content.
That is true too. And I have a feeling this has something to do with the rumored Damien Lindelof movie that they're doing
Hmm.
because Johnson has already said that his trilogy is going to be separate from the Skywalker saga. So like he's done with characters from the
I can,
Skywalker saga.
yeah, I can understand that because he doesn't like to do that sort of story.
Yeah. And yeah, my wife also said like she could be lending her voice to something too that's non Ray related. Like the speculations there. She also brought up a great point when we were at AwesomeCon this year. Haley Atwell was there, and people kept asking her about coming back as Captain Carter, and like she had to dance around the question. And like this to me is pretty much Daisy Ridley dancing around questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, which Daisy, if you're watching, which you probably aren't, um, Rachel, Ra- Rachel, come on. So she's pretty much posted Ben Solo, Ben Solo, Ben Solo. Oh wait, I'm annoying already. And my toxic trait is skipping the show hosting duties and showing up in chat.
Honestly, valid.
It is. It is. It is.
If I
Um,
didn't enjoy the sound of my voice that much, I would
yeah,
also be annoying in chat.
exactly. Hell, I spam chat too, and I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also I straight up have chat open so I can also see what's going on in there.
I love it. I love it. Um, yeah, so this is really interesting. Like I said, I have a feeling it deals with Lindelof's movie. It could also deal with Taika's movie too.
Don't think it would be Taika's, and that is mostly because Taika doesn't seem to want to do a Skywalker Saga movie.
No, that makes
I don't
sense.
think yeah, I don't think that he would be the one continuing that.
Yeah, and she's not. It's not going to be Rogue Squadron related because Patty has said pretty much like it's all about pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though Ray is a pilot, Rogue Squadron's more of like Poe and the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. I have a feeling we're gonna get something. We are gonna get something at Celebration. Okay, Rachel or Ray, go ahead, do your soapbox moment. Come on, let's go.
Yes. We will narrate for you.
Hmm. I'm waiting. Can we let Ray
Yes.
be written and directed by a woman? Absolutely, we
I
should.
would love to see that.
Absolutely, we should. There are Chloe Zhao
We
would be perfect.
yes. In general, we need to see more people or more women writing and directing Star Wars
Yes.
because historically, Star Wars has been great as when it comes to male characters. I have so many rants about Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith Padme, even down to the level of costuming. I
Yeah.
have issues.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see a woman. Please, can we hire a woman?
I mean, you could do Chloe Zhao because I mean she killed Eternals, honestly. Like she did
Yes.
such a great job with that movie. I know it has a mixed reaction, but honestly, I love Eternals.
I love it, and I think the mixed reaction comes from it is at its core thematically, Eternals is a story about abortion.
It it is. It is. It really is. Um it is. But Eric, can we have a Women's History Month program? Yes, absolutely. Yes, we can do that. I will let you two lead it.
All right.
and I
Meet
will
me in staff chat, Rachel.
yeah, and I will sit back and just moderate. That way you all can just do your thing and we can just have a good time. Um,
Hmm.
but I will say Deborah Chow would be another good one. I mean, look at what she did with Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Even Bryce
Amazing
Dallas
directing
Howard.
there. Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have a woman of color do it, honestly.
Yeah, because, yeah.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm just like, she supports NFTs. That's
Oh,
where she lost me.
yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about NFTs. It's like Bruno. You don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to our final. I'm a sign off. Got to go to work tomorrow. All right.
Right,
See
bye,
ya,
Rachel.
Rachel. Um, let's talk about our final news topic here, and that is the return of one Robert Iger. He's back. He's at Disney.
Yes.
How do you feel about this, by the way?
So I have never actually like given much care to who is CEO of Disney.
Okay, that's fair enough.
However, uh, considering a lot of the stuff that has been so cost prohibitive with Disney, like with, you know, the Galactic Star Cruiser, a lot of the prices at the parks rising
Yeah.
has been sort of associated with the former CEO, as well as the Chapak not thinking that people older than like children watch cartoons when. Should I tell you about the Voltron fandom guy? Because adults love cartoons.
Yeah.
It, the thing is, all the cartoons made specifically for adults in America suck.
Yeah. No, they do. I mean, I would
They're
say
ugly to
Bob's
look at.
Burgers is. I would say Bob's Burgers is fun to look at.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one is fun to look at, but I'm thinking of stuff like Simpsons, American Guy,
Oh,
that
American
sort of
Dad.
stuff where
Yeah.
they their humor tends to not age well, that sort of stuff.
Because we're talking about Bob Chapek and how he said animation is just for kids and not for adults. Yeah. Because Bob
Yeah.
Chapek is a lovely human being. Um. Well, also, let's talk about he supported the Don't Say Gay bill,
Yeah.
which he eventually walked back, but then that got
Only
back
because of backlash.
and then that got backlash from Florida's governor, and then come on, and then the said governor tried to destroy Reedy Creek, the
Yep.
the the improvement district that runs Disney World.
Yep.
So I will say this: as a park consumer, as a park goer, they really need to do something about these prices.
Hmm. Because inflation is making everything worse.
Yeah,
Because costs are rising
yeah,
and wages are not.
exactly.
And
And
so fewer and fewer people are going to be able to go to the parks.
mhm. I mean, we have a trip planned for next year, and honestly, we're thinking about cutting it real short and just having like, instead of doing a week, just like doing like 4 or 5 days because
Yeah.
it's so expensive, and that's with staying on property. That's with two park tickets for each person. I mean, well, park tickets for each person, and honestly, it's a
A
lot.
lot.
It is. And one of the things that I would like to see Iger do is he needs to bring back the free programs that they got rid of during the pandemic and then brought back and then they got rid of again, such as they need to bring back the Magical Express and it needs to be free. Now you can charge for Disneyland, but instead of it being $50 a person, it should be like $15 to $20 a person.
Yeah.
If you're going to do And they need to get rid of Lightning Lane and Genie Plus and just bring back Fast Passes.
Yeah,
And
it's just
and you need to lower the price for the Star Cruiser, and instead of it being 2 days, it should be like 3 or 4 days.
yeah, because it
Also,
gives more time for the storyline to develop,
yeah,
and people have an opportunity to see all the cool things that happen.
yeah, and cheapen your cruise prices too, dude.
Hmm.
Like seriously. Um, Also, they need to market animation more because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've heard nothing but great things about Strange World, but I heard that it bombed at the box office because they didn't market it well.
Still gonna go and see it tonight because I was just like, I want to see it. It just
Yeah,
came out. I
yeah,
need to see it.
yeah. I don't blame you, but still, like it's gonna be interesting to see what he does. And he's only got 2 years on this contract. The board only approved him for 2 years.
Huh.
He also has to improve cast member morale, and he's got to get that agreement.
Yeah. And I can understand that. I'm friends with multiple Disney cast members
Yep.
who left during the pandemic,
Hmm.
uh, who were specifically in the showbiz side of
Yeah.
being a Disney cast member. So they were performers.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Oh, it was. It was absolutely awful, and it just honestly, they need to pay these people the right amount of money, especially with dealing with the public the way that they're dealing with the public right now. Because the last time we went to Disney, there were some rude people treating the cast members really bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, they do not deserve to go through that treatment. They're trying to provide an experience for you, and you are treating them like garbage because you're not getting what you want.
Yeah.
And honestly, because little Aiden couldn't get his num nums because they ran out of pretzels, doesn't mean that you have to treat the pretzel cart person like a complete jerk.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Bob, fix it. That's what we're going to say.
Yeah.
And invite us to the premiere of The Acolyte, please. Oh, and let's talk about one more thing since we're talking about Robert Iger. And this also ties into Indiana Jones 5. Once again, there is a rumor circulating. It seems like every freaking week there's a Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired rumor.
It's not going to happen, guys. She is in very good standing with the company.
Yeah,
The reason that this is happening is because someone happened to say something about, oh, someone else is not doing great, or someone else is looking to leave, and it's not going to be Kathleen Kennedy, guys.
yeah.
I know some fanboys are frothing at the mouth waiting for her to leave. It's not going to happen.
No,
Dave Filoni is not going to end up in charge of Lucasfilm.
no.
Keep dreaming.
And honestly, I don't think Dave wants to be in charge.
No, because it takes away from him being able to direct.
Yeah. And Favreau doesn't want to be in charge because Favreau wants to write and direct.
Yeah. And so, in order to do what they like to do, Kathleen needs to stay as president.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Here's the absolute kicker. And you're going to agree with me on this one.
I, I'm not surprised.
Everybody blames her for all of these problems, right? Like, the Book of Boba Fett didn't do so hot critically. They blame Kathleen Kennedy. The Last Jedi divided fans. They blame Kathleen Kennedy. However, The Mandalorian kills it, Kathleen Kennedy isn't mentioned at all. And yet, she's the one that greenlit the project.
It's almost like that fun little M words that I mentioned earlier.
Yes. Yes. And it's not fair to Kathleen Kennedy, who has poured her heart and soul into this business and has had as successful of a career as she has had.
Yes, I also thank her very much for making the Willow TV show because I have been enjoying that deeply.
I still need to watch the first two episodes of Willow.
Okay, I watched them yesterday while I was having a little mending day.
Hmm.
So I was fixing a lot of clothes
Yeah.
and just watching Willow. And you guys, you have to watch it.
I
It
heard
is
it.
so great to have like a fun, light fantasy thing
Hmm.
because everyone is trying to be the new Game of Thrones. I miss a good, lighthearted fantasy TV show.
Me too.
And they're handling like I see Kit and I see Eric and I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh, these are definitely the kids of Sorsha and Mad Mardigan because they're disasters. And I do not believe that those two could not have disaster children.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Warwick Davis come back in his role and everything. And
The, the depth that he is bringing to Willow. I mean, he was amazing as Willow originally, but now we're seeing Willow who is past his prime, past his heyday, and he is
mhm.
struggling to keep on hope in this prophecy. I love to see him. We also get to see his kids from the first movie all grown up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I have to ask this. I have to ask this question, and if this goes into spoiler territory, I'm sorry, but do we get a de-aged Val Kilmer?
No. Uh they said while they were talking about the show before it comes up that
Mhm.
Val Kilmer, Mad Mardigan is not going to be in this season.
Okay.
However, he is like his shadow is cast over his children, and we
Okay.
do meet his squire.
Okay.
And I will leave the rest for when you finally watch it.
Okay. Um, but I get like why they're not bringing Val Kilmer into it because of his throat cancer and all of that.
Yes, and
Um,
I do think that I mean they have kept up relationships with Val Kilmer, and
mhm.
when he is ready to be in the show, they're going to find a place for him.
I will say this. So speaking of Val Kilmer, real quick, uh, the way they did you see Top Gun Maverick?
No, I did not want to see the military propaganda.
I get it. I get it. I totally get it. However, I will say this: the way they brought him into Top Gun Maverick, absolutely freaking brilliant. Like they did it
Yes.
so well. They did it absolutely well. But anyway, like if they bring him into Willow, I hope they do it well and I hope they do it to honor his character.
I definitely think that they will.
Yeah. Uh,
Based off of everything that they have with his character's legacy,
yeah.
they're gonna do well with bringing him back.
And Ron Howard's involved too, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So, yeah. That brings us to our next thing. Our main topic, we're going to talk a little bit about Andor. I'm actually going to let Faye just gush about this season and speculate where we go from here. So, Faye, you can take it away. I'll weigh in every once in a while, but this is all you, my friend. This is all you.
Okay. So holy, just holy. Oh my gosh.
Holy
So
shitballs.
yeah. Uh this season was great. The way that they managed to bring all the storylines together for that funeral, the way that Marva, even though she didn't get to be a really she didn't get to be there making the changes and fighting the empire like she wished she could have done. but still, she is that sort of crack that started it all on Ferrex. And a lot of people are saying now, oh, seeing how Ferrex went, it makes so much more sense how the New Republic kind of got the Empire so torn apart so quickly. Because it probably wasn't the New Republic. It was probably a lot of local rebellions against their Imperial overlords to help clear everything out after they had the assurance that, oh, hey, the Emperor is gone. And so a lot of people are saying that makes sense. It was just a beautiful episode. I liked seeing Brasso. Don't bring a gun to an old lady brick fight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Brasso smashing a guy over the head with Marva's little like brick.
But you know what?
It's what she would have wanted.
Exactly. Marva would have wanted to be beaten over the head by or be beaten or would want to beat somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people are slightly confused over why this funeral was so big when it says in the series she was a president of the Daughters of Ferrex. She is a very important leader for for the city, for these people. And so having Ferrex come together once again as a community, very much like in that first arc, is the perfect closure for the season. Yeah, Andor himself didn't really do much, but I think that's kind of fitting because the thing about Andor is that his story is one about death. Death looms over him this entire season, with the music that we keep hearing being the Ferret's funeral march, with, Marva's encroaching death, with him building the means of his own destruction. This entire season has been about, hey, Cassian Andor? Yeah, this is a story about death.
I want to want to talk about Rick's Road here, the final episode real quick. And I just want to share a few thoughts. And these are kind of laugh out loud things a little
Yeah.
bit. Um my my boy the bell ringer Sparta kicking the stormtrooper off the tower was amazing.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I almost threw my remote at the TV when a certain droid got flipped over by an Imperial officer.
Listen, all of us are gonna fight that person who flipped over B2 Emo.
I yelled the F word out loud. I was like, I yelled it multiple times at the guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, I do not blame you.
I was like, no, no.
Yeah, but this season shows a whole lot about Imperial incompetence with much how many resources they waste trying to get Cassian Andor, only
Yes.
to never even like glimpse him in the finale. Uh, I think that's perfect. Uh, and I think that next season we're gonna see a little bit of a demotion for Dedra after all of this, and I feel like there have been like theories about her ending up after a demotion working with Cyril Karn, which I don't want because I don't think that she should be forced to work with her stalker. But that's a me
Yeah.
thing.
No, I agree. And that is the most cringe story of the show is those
Yeah.
two.
And honestly, I give like kudos to kudos to the writer who I mean he was in an interview and someone was just like, oh, someone has people have been interpreting the scene with Cyril and Dedra outside the ISB office, and like think that it might be a thing later. And he just kind of looked at them and just like, what? So he understands the story that he is writing. I
Yes.
don't think some of the fans are understanding the story that is happening.
And that's the sad part is like
Yeah,
it's very clear that he is trying to use Dedra to get Cassian,
yeah,
and he's doing it as a vendetta where to me she's doing it as a way to secure the empire because she's so manipulated by the system.
yeah. And Tony Gilroy gets it. The the arc for Deidre is he and her actress totally get the character that they are working with.
Absolutely
I
they do.
love to see it.
Oh yeah, and like the whole ISB story to me was so well done.
Yes.
Absolutely well done. And you're right, you see the imperial competent incompetence and it's almost it's almost embarrassing like how overcompetent they are.
It's because they haven't had real like pushback yet. The real pushback happens at Yavin. And that's what starts the there's a push into the mid rim, and then unfortunately the rebellion is pushed back out to the outer rim.
Okay, my question here is the start of the push at Yavin or is the start of the push at Scarif?
Honestly, I guess Scarif, because that's when you first have tangible, like, this is a huge point that we can hit that they've poured lots of resources into, and they're overconfident about this thing.
Exactly, because like when the fleet shows up at Scarif, the Imperials are like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. And so now that we have seen Cassian finally join the rebellion, we have about 4 years to cover now.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, it's going to be in those 3 episode arcs. Each one is going to be like a major event within
Yeah.
those ensuing years. And I think our first arc is probably going to be Cassian meeting Mon Mothma,
I want that so much. I want that so much.
because the way that we see them together in Rogue One implies that they are fairly familiar with each other. And I want to see their first meeting.
Yeah, I do too. I think it would be really interesting to see her, like, to see them meet, but also her start to assemble the top generals in the rebellion together.
Yes, that that assemblage plus having more and more Fulcrum agents. As
I,
long as we don't see Ahsoka, I don't want to see Ahsoka in this show.
please no Ahsoka.
She Ahsoka is like a different genre of character that doesn't
Yes.
really fit with Tony Gilroy's story.
And honestly, I don't think Gilroy would do that to us. I really don't think he would.
I don't think he would either. I just had to say it.
No, I totally get it. Like, if you're going to show any Rebels characters, you would probably do Hera.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Rural Farm Boy. I think it would be great to see Melshi sent to Obani.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Um, I also want to see. I want to see Blue Leader show up. I want to see Ben Daniels so bad as Blue Leader again. Like, come on, bring my boy back, please. Bring him back. Here's a question.
he's great.
Yeah, here's another question that I have for you. Since we're talking about season two, what are the chances that we see a glimpse into Baze and Chirrut still trying to protect the the Kyber temple on Jeddah?
I don't think we will. And that's mostly because I don't think it is a part of the story necessary.
Yeah.
for Andor.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I do want to see more of them. I would
Yeah.
love to see a Baze and Chirrut like book or something showing them working together on this. I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of potential for unique storytelling in especially following Baze because he doesn't have a visual on the world.
No.
And so it's really interesting to kind of flex your writing skills
Yeah.
in finding a way to basically not have one sense
Yeah.
and only use those other four.
Yeah. I, I mean, I'd love to see I'd love to see an adaptation of Guardians of the Wills. Hey,
Yes.
Scarif Scuttlebutt, how's it going, guys? Um,
Scarif?
but honestly, like if you look at I had to ask the question because like if we're talking about Rogue One characters, I had to ask this question, right? Because like you
hmm
you talked about Melshi to get Jin. I think if we get any other Rogue One characters, I mean, of course we're gonna get K2SO, and
Yeah.
there is that speculation that B2 Emo is actually K2SO, like the
Yeah.
personalities there, and
I
honestly, I'd be okay.
yeah, I would be okay. I want to see K2SO. I think he is gonna be in season two.
Yeah,
Uh I cannot wait. The fact that we have to wait so long for Andor season two, I understand it, especially with I know I have heard rumors about a writer strike in 2023, which is
yeah,
probably why things are kind of slowing down a little bit, but I cannot wait to see what happens in season two.
yeah. I mean, let's actually talk about this writer's strike because, but I have a feeling like Gilroy has already written season two.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because we've had enough said and rumored about what goes on in season two that there's at least a very firm idea of what's going to happen, and the rest is just going to be polishing things up.
yeah. So if there if there is if there is a writer's strike, I hope it doesn't affect the production, but I get what you're saying about trying to polish it up because you do need to hire additional writers to polish scripts up. I mean, like
Yeah,
if you look at like there was a joke in the TV show Entourage, like when they did this movie about Pablo Escobar. It was like this fictional movie about Pablo Escobar. Like they brought in the head writer from the movie Traffic to like polish up the script. So like there's
yeah,
always people coming in to like polish up scripts and everything. But honestly, like and Scarif, Ro, you guys hit the nail on the head here. Not another writer's strike. The first one bore reality, bore reality TV. That is true. That is true.
yeah,
And honestly, I don't think I can watch another season of trashy reality TV. However, I am addicted to Survivor. Just saying.
yeah. But I mean, we talk about it. There are rumors, but
Yeah.
it depends on what the union says.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's interesting because the last writer's strike also affected, and Daniel Craig actually said this because I've been going through Bond movies lately. Um, I watched, okay, real quick, I watched No Time to Die the other day, and it was actually fairly enjoyable. That's all I'm gonna
okay.
say. It was Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond. I
hmm
enjoyed it for the most part. I thought that it was entertaining.
Yeah,
Definitely had a lot of action. However, he was talking about Quantum of Solace, and like Quantum of Solace is actually Daniel Craig's like worst rated Bond movie. Even though I think it's a great movie, but he said the writer's strike affected it like in the
yeah,
worst way possible. Even like Heroes like had that amazing first season, and like the writer's strike like hit.
yeah. Uh, we talk about a lot about how we can tell when the writer's strike was happening in
Yes.
television because it just all of a sudden, because you needed so many scripts, it just the quality tanked because
Yeah,
they couldn't get that polishing that they needed. And I think that writer's strike also is what helped contribute to the shorter seasons that we see nowadays.
yeah,
That and like the birth of streaming.
yeah. It's
But I see Andor and I'm just like, this is what we should return to.
yeah, it's really funny though because like I'm also a huge fan of The Office, and one of the best seasons of The Office hit during the writer's strike, and that was season
Yeah.
4. And it's so well done, and it's surprisingly a short season, but it's so well
Yeah.
done with like hour-long episodes and like all this stuff. But like you could tell like the writers were like, "Hey, we're about to go on strike. We need to make this like the best season like before the strike happens."
Yeah.
Um and if that's the case here, I I also hope the Acolyte doesn't get affected by this either.
Hmm.
And like I hope Ahsoka doesn't get affected. I hope Andor doesn't get affected because like these are stories like Andor is the story that we need as Star Wars fans.
Yes. And it shows how a mature story
Hmm.
doesn't have to be like Game of Thrones gritty. You you just need to treat the audience like adults who can read between the lines of
Yeah,
things. And they do an excellent balance of show versus tell in the
yeah,
season where sometimes what they need to tell is just told and sometimes it's showed in very excellent ways.
yeah. Give
My
me,
my one the one time would be like I don't think that they needed to show Clem's death, but that's
yeah.
just because of how triggering that can be for other people.
Give me 1 second here. I gotta go yell at the cat real quick. Hold on.
What is Pickles doing?
I think he's trying to get into some of my wife's like crafting stuff. What are you doing? He's on the table. Get down. Anyway, um, Steven from Princess and Scoundrel podcast is in chat. Hello, don't know if this was mentioned, but I was a huge Heroes fan, and that show tanked because of the writer's strike. Yeah, that's
Yep,
true. Heroes first season is so good. It's
it
so
was.
good. And then like season 2, and then like it went. Yeah, the cat's gonna listen. Yes.
It
Um,
went off the rails.
Yeah. But like yeah, after season 2, like everybody started becoming related to each other and everything. And to me that was just lazy writing. I don't think we're
Yeah,
going to get that with this because like Andor is like I think of Andor as like 24 set in Star Wars.
yeah,
Andor is like is the Star Wars equivalent of Jack Bauer
yeah.
essentially. Like that's what I was thinking as I was watching it. I was like kind of wish Kiefer Sutherland was in this role. Not gonna lie, just for a brief second because I love Diego Luna.
Diego Luna's great.
Yeah. Um. But man, I don't know. Like, I want to ask you this question also. Um. Your rating for Andor, like out of 10, what would you give it?
I would honestly give it like an 8.5 or 9. There's some things I wish could have been improved on, but compared to a lot of stuff that we have seen recently, it is excellent, and this is what TV shows should be.
Yeah. Um. I Leah and I talked about this last week, and I gave it about an 8.5 or 9 as well. It is the strongest first season of any Star Wars show that they've ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing, don't get me wrong, like, you and I have said this before. We've enjoyed everything that they've put out
Yes.
for the most part.
Like for the most part, I I have a love-hate relationship with Book of Boba Fett.
Me too. Me too. Scarif, Roe and his team say a 16 out of 10. Yes, a 16 out of 10 is another great way of
That is
grading it.
another great way, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like this is such a strong first season, and everything that they like Leah and I were talking about it, and like everything that the last episode tackles, like if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. And truly the thing that makes me most sad about Andor is that we're not going to get the full amount of seasons that had been originally planned for.
Yeah.
I wish we could have those extra seasons to really develop the story that this was intended to be.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have loved 5 seasons of this, really.
I I would be so happy.
Because like if this season takes place within 1 year, each other season should be taking place within a year.
Yeah, and I know they're trying to do everything in those 3 episode arcs, and I'm not sure how well it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be as good and as tight.
Yeah.
I still know it's going to be a good season, but
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned, just slightly.
I am too because I don't want this to be Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah, I genuinely have like fingers crossed that because of how well received this has been, that they're going to announce that they're going to get some more seasons. However, I also don't want this to be a Legend of Korra situation where they're told that, oh, you're only going to have 1 season. Oh, wait. No, you're going to get another season. Oh, we're canceling you after this. No, you get another season. I don't want that to be the experience with writing this show
Yeah.
because that horribly affected Legend of Korra's storytelling, and I don't want that to happen with Andor.
Yeah, you're
However, I do want more Andor.
Oh, I think we all want more Andor. And you're right.
Yeah,
Like, if you look at that first season of Legend of Korra, that's pretty much an entire series in that first season.
because that's what Legend of Korra was supposed to be.
Yeah, it really was. Um, but yeah, like here, you should have, you know what? Give me, to quote Community, give me 6 seasons in a movie.
We've already got the movie.
We do already have the movie. Just give me 6 seasons. Um, but no, like this show, man. I mean, it hit at the perfect time.
Yeah, everything. I mean, we all know that Star Wars is a way of commenting on current political situations and how timely all the episodes were where we had we had the prison arc.
Yeah.
At the same time, so many states were voting to
Hmm.
eradicate prison labor.
Yeah.
All of this was done super well. It was
Yeah.
very timely, and I think it's going to age beautifully.
Yes. So I want to ask this question as we start to get on the tail end of our show here. Let's talk about award season. Um, is this, and this is for the entire chat. So if you're in here, weigh in on this. Is this show going to get acting nominations, writing nominations, and like best like limited series nominations?
I personally will be shocked if it does not get writing nominations. And acting nominations would be great. However, I know that a lot of like the the genre television tends to be kind of overlooked a lot of the time. So I mean, unless we're talking about stuff like Game of Thrones, which because it
Yeah.
was such a pop culture icon, they couldn't leave it out of the Emmys.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that because it is Star Wars and because critics are used to Star Wars just kind of being campy,
Yeah.
and not taken seriously, they're gonna overlook what Andor is. I also think that the amount of Star Wars shows that have come out this year is kind of gonna shoot Andor in the foot because there's so many things for consideration. And
Yeah.
the whole thing with the award season is you have to like basically like monetarily gift a lot of these people in order for them to consider your shows. And so Lucasfilm can't do that with all the shows that they have put out.
Yeah.
So they're going to prioritize.
Yeah. I mean, I agree because it's Star Wars. It isn't going to be like, yeah. I mean, but this show deserves it. It. I mean, it just because it's Star Wars. Like, remove the Star Wars and just look at it for what it is. It completely deserves to be recognized. And man, like, and you know what? I keep thinking that Book of Boba Fett was like 3 years ago because that's how many Star Wars shows we've gotten this year.
Yeah, and I wish that they could space things out a little bit more
Yes.
because we're constantly worried about fandom fatigue, and because so many people have talked about that with the MCU, and I think it might happen with Star Wars, not personally with me,
Yeah.
but with other fans.
I think there's enough, like, when it comes to fandom fatigue, I think that there's enough with Star Wars, especially like with books and comics and games and stuff that's coming out, that you have enough to like spread out and do that. The MCU got, I got MCU fatigue because they're shoving Disney Plus content down our throats. And honestly, they're making, I mean, outside of Wakanda Forever, because Wakanda Forever was absolutely freaking incredible for what it was and what they did. But they're making bad movies. And honestly, well, I will say this. The Guardians Christmas special is freaking amazing. That's all I'm going to
Not
say.
watched the Christmas special yet, but I would say like top Marvel movies for me lately have been like Eternals
Yeah.
and Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I would
Like
say
I love
yeah.
Taika's stuff, but I wasn't huge on Love and Thunder because that
Nope.
is my favorite comic arc.
Yeah.
And if you do it wrong, which is this case, using Jane Foster's story and that specific story of Jane Foster when
Yeah.
she is still only a love interest, I don't like that.
Yeah. And they didn't give her a chance to actually be Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which worries me about Taika's Star Wars movie because I'm afraid he's going to Love and Thunder it when he needs to like do something like Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like with the MCU, Eternals and Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi, I should say, and Wakanda Forever are up there for me. And like I said, the Guardians Christmas special is chef's kiss. It's so
Yeah.
friggin' funny. I still have yet to see Werewolf by Night. Um,
It's pretty to look at.
that's what I've heard. And I will also say, What If just didn't do anything for me.
I like that sort of general storytelling.
Yeah.
However, that's what fan fiction is for.
Yeah, exactly. And I've read a lot better fan fiction than what I saw with What If. And this isn't a knock on the people that wrote What If. They did what they could, but it just feels like this is like the MCU is just getting tiresome because they keep churning it out. And you're right. I'm afraid that Star Wars will get that way too. However, I have the High Republic.
Yeah, we have the High Republic. We also see that Star Wars, with its shows, are trying to diversify the genre,
Yes.
which is really important because the reason that Star Wars books are so beloved by so many people is because they play around with this with the genre because Star Wars itself is a blend of many genres.
Yeah.
So you can have more Western leaning things like The Mandalorian. We can
Hmm.
have more. I kind of consider Kenobi more like a samurai
It
style
is.
character story.
It is.
It's just character study, but the Jedi are inherently tied to samurai films.
Yeah. I mean, it is the Kenobi series is essentially a Akira Kurosawa movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And then you get these other books like Princess and the Scoundrel, and you get Shadow of the Sith, and which I got to tell you, I am loving Shadow of the Sith. It is so freaking good.
I'm I'm so close to being able to read it. I have like two books,
Yeah.
and then it's Shadow of the Sith time, and I cannot wait.
And I gotta tell you, like even like Resistance Reborn and Phasma and Black Spire, and even then, like you have like Steven and his wife Sarah have been on the Star Cruiser a couple of times, and like they said, like it's you are in Star Wars and it feels incredible, and like you can go to Black Spire Outpost at the theme parks and experience it there. So yes, Star Wars fatigue is real. However, I think they're handling it a lot better than they are the MCU.
Yeah, and I think that's because Marvel is so tied to this formula. They
Yes.
need to have that third act big fight between the superhero and the big bad when that's not necessarily what we need.
No.
Uh, and I think that's what Wakanda Forever was saying too.
Yeah. I I will say that also Wakanda Forever's final fight is very anticlimactic.
And I think it's perfect. I
Oh no, it
also
is.
I I just love Kukulkan. Like
Yeah.
getting beaten and then going back and just drawing fan art of him and Shuri.
Yes. And then I mean, it's just all of these things. Like Star Wars Andor worked because it was a slow burn.
Yes.
The stakes were high, but they were more personal stakes.
Yes. And it fits the genre of the story
It
because
does.
political thrillers are a slow burn.
Yeah. And you don't need, I mean, don't get me wrong, Andor has some fantastic set pieces, fantastic action set pieces, but you don't need tons of action and people getting their heads blown off. Like, this was perfect. It was the perfect amount of action and the perfect amount of intrigue where they said, hey, we've
Oh
got this
yeah.
story to tell. The violence is going to be part of the story, but it's not going to drive the story. It's not like a John Wick movie where you're like, okay, how many dudes is this guy going to drop in an hour and a half?
Yeah, it's far more all of the conflict is for a purpose. And I'm gonna be honest, the first time I watched the finale, I did not know that there was an end credit scene. So I watched it and I was like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah,
And then I was rewatching it to prepare for this episode, and I kind of got distracted. I was sewing while I was doing everything, so I was like, "Wait, what? Why is it just not switching to Rogue One? Why is it still on the credits?" And then I saw the Death Star, and I was just like,
yeah. Um, and
"Yep."
that's amazing that he built the weapon that killed him.
It's why I say this story is about death
Yeah, and Ro, you hit
without killing many characters too.
the body count's surprisingly low so far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it is a story about death, but more about how inescapable it is
yeah,
without killing people.
yeah. Ro, you hit the nail on the head here. I kind of don't understand when people say Andor isn't Star Wars.
Oh, it's very much Star Wars. It's
It
just Star
is.
Wars done with good writing.
That and you don't need Force users in all of your Star Wars projects.
Yeah.
You don't need Force users in everything. I'm sorry, but season 1 of The Mandalorian would have worked without Grogu.
It would have, yeah.
And season 2 would have worked without Grogu. Like, you don't
Less
need Force
so, because
users.
I would say less so with season two, mostly because
Yeah,
the like
yeah,
binding flesh of the season was finding
yeah.
Grogu's people.
But season 1 could have worked without Grogu.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
The,
yeah,
yeah,
Rebels is different because like you have to tell that story.
yes,
But
and
yeah,
yeah, Rebels and Andor fit very well together.
they do.
It's just Ezra's a teenager, and so he acts like one.
Yeah. And I will say this, Resistance doesn't have outside of the Kylo Ren cameo that it gets, it doesn't have any other Force users in it. And it
Yes, and
works.
even better, Resistance actually has aliens,
It
which is
does.
the one thing I was missing from this season. I
Yes.
am an alien lover. I will probably show up to our Life Day RPG special in body paint as Paris.
Which we still have to figure that out.
We have
Um
to schedule that,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, we do. But it's one of those things where if you have good writing, you don't need to constantly rely on the Force. And I think that's the issue with Favreau and Filoni is they keep inserting Force users into these stories.
Yes.
A- And it,
Like,
yeah,
on a Watsonian level, yes, the Force is still there in every
yeah,
story because it connects every life being. However, it doesn't always have to be the focal point.
no. And like I said, I'm all about Force cults right now because of Path of Deceit and because of Convergence and like a bunch of others. Like I am all about like Force cults and Force religions. However, I don't need it all the time.
Yeah,
So,
I so deeply prefer the political lean of things. Like,
me too.
I love that with Force cults and how they interact with everything.
Yeah.
But I am here for politics.
Hmm.
That sort of like dry stuff, like economics. I can go on a tirade about hyperspace.
Yeah. Um.
Uh,
Yeah. Go
but
ahead.
like that and like the fun costumes. I love the costumes.
Hmm.
Would really love if we stepped back a little bit more from the Orientalism, please.
Yeah.
But
Um. And Steven, you're not gonna get any hate from here for saying that
yeah,
you think
no,
that Andor's mid. That's fine. You.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
The whole point of Star Wars playing with different genres and playing with different stories is that way there's something for everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if Andor wasn't your bag, that's fine. Like my wife sat down and watched the first 3 episodes with me, and she's like, "You know what? You can finish this on your own. It's fine. It's not my thing." And she loves Rogue One. Like she loves Rogue One, but she didn't care for Andor. And
yeah,
that's fine. Like I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And I
yeah,
mean, and
no,
I know that you're not either, but what I'm going to say is like who cares like if people enjoyed it or people didn't enjoy it. Star Wars has something for everyone. That's our point.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, like my wife was just like, "Yeah, it's meh." And I said, "All right, that's fine. You don't have to watch it." And she's like, "I'm not going to." And I was like, "All right, cool."
yeah.
Like like now I did have to show her the Andy Serkis cameo because I thought that that was pretty amazing.
How
And
did she feel about that?
she thought it was fun. She actually like flipped out over the Saw Gerrera cameo. She was like, that's really cool." Yeah.
Yeah,
But, just we've got the Bad Batch coming, we've got Ahsoka coming, we've got the Acolytes,
we are
we've
gonna
got
have so
Vision.
much really cool Force
Yeah.
stuff happening in the
Yeah.
next year.
And we've got Vision season 2 that's going to hit next year too, like
That's that's gonna be amazing. The only thing
yeah.
I wish is that it got far more marketing because
Yeah.
it came out last year and I found out through a TikTok.
And that's sad because Visions is
That's sad.
fantastic.
Visions is excellent, and I
Yes.
hope that we get more spin-offs of the Visions shorts that we see
Hmm.
because Ronan was excellent. And
Yeah.
if we can get more expansions on those bits of story that we see,
Hmm.
there's a lot that can be done.
So with Ronin, I've done Ronin twice. Like one of them was I tried to read it and it was just hard for me to read. Like I just didn't like to me like my own narration style wasn't that good, but then like I listened to the audiobook and the audiobook was fantastic.
Yeah, so this is something that I've noticed because I read lots of light novels, which are like Chinese novels,
Hmm.
and so there's a different prose style because of roots in different languages, and so it seems more like you're being told the story, and it doesn't focus a lot on description and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so going from reading like an MSDS book, which is like Scum Villain Saving System, versus something like, let's see, what's a recent romance that's the same genre? Uh, Once Stolen.
Hmm.
Entirely different prose style, but very similar like
Yeah.
genres. And so I can kind of see that issue happening
Yeah.
because I've been waiting for the translation of the High Republic light novel, which is being published in Mandarin to get translated to English,
Uh-huh.
because I really want to see how people who aren't American or
Hmm.
British write Star Wars
Yeah.
in a novel format.
Well, another one for me was like Aftermath. I couldn't read the book. Like I tried and it was terrible in my opinion. Listen to
Yeah,
the audiobook, but that's Mark Thompson.
yeah, I've met a couple of people who didn't like Aftermath because I can kind of understand. I'm not huge on Nora or Temin.
Yeah.
I love Sinjir. He's such a dick.
Singer's great. Such an asshole. And
he's
Mr.
he's ter-
Mr.
he's
Bones is
such
amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I love the squad of kind of terrible people who are
Oh
fighting for the right reasons.
yes. Yes.
And I especially like to see I liked to see the hesitance that
Hmm.
Ray Sloan had
Yeah.
because she thought about going and joining Nora.
Yeah, she did. Especially at Jakku.
I know.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that alternate universe.
Yeah. So all in all, we love Andor. If you didn't, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Um and that's fine. And Steven, you're right. It does feel like Andor the fandom is starting to realize that there is different tastes and no Star Wars is worse than different Star Wars. That's true. And if you don't like something, it's fine. I know people that don't like The Last Jedi but love Rise of Skywalker. And I know people
Yeah.
that don't like the prequels at all but love the sequel trilogy. And there's people that don't like Clone Wars, even though I think you're wrong. That's just me joking, but
Yeah.
like when it comes to Visions, I didn't like the last two episodes of Visions. I didn't like La Pinocho or the other one.
I liked Lop and Ocha, but I didn't really enjoy the last one.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. So, like what you want when it comes to Star Wars. Don't gatekeep. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. We're all enjoying the same very nerdy fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, it's all space opera, and we get
Yeah.
to figure out what other genres fit into the universe.
And Ro and I have talked about this before. Like, Ro didn't really like the High Republic. And I was like, that's fine. And
Yeah.
like, Farm Boy didn't really like the High Republic. And that's fine. Like, I'm okay with it. Like,
Yeah. The High Republic was my gateway drug into all of the books, which
oh, I
is why
know.
you hear me talking about the chronological read through, because I was like, I started way back here.
Yeah,
Might as well continue that trend.
exactly. My buddy Tim, who you're gonna meet when we do the live action TV show bursts coming up next year. He he's been reading. He's almost done all of Legends, and he's written it. He's read it all in release order,
Oh
and
God.
he's on Fate of the Jedi now, which was the final like big story arc before the acquisition, and
Oh
he's just like it's a journey, man. I was like, yeah, I don't blame you. Like he
yeah.
T-spans with the uptime. Come on, dude. T-spans. But like
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, it's been rough. Like he went through all 20 plus novels of New Jedi Order. He went through
Oh.
all of Legacy of the Force. Like he went through everything. He had me read the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy. Oh, it was terrible. Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the EU and I view it as published fan fiction, which is what it was, because George Lucas never really considered any of it canon.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I know going into Legends, as I will be going into it as soon as I finish reading all the canon books,
Yeah.
that I'm going to be reading writing of the quality of fan fiction, which I know varies heavily.
Oh, it does. It varies. I will say this. I think Shadows of the Empire, or Shadow of the Empire, I think you're really going to enjoy. And I think that I think you'll like Plagueis. I think you'll really enjoy Plagueis.
I kind of have guessed based off of what I like of Star Wars that I'm going
Yeah.
to enjoy Plagueis the most.
Yeah.
Uh, I have also had late night, like by the fire at medieval event conversations about like legends and the Yuzhang Vong, and
Yeah.
most of the consensus there by a lot of my friends is just like we don't like when Star Wars tries to actually be science.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
not how the universe works.
I will also say this. I think that if you liked Thrawn, if you enjoy the Thrawn novels, you'll like what Timothy Zahn did with his original Thrawn trilogy and like Outbound Flight and all that stuff.
I think I will
Yeah.
because Timothy Zahn talks about Thrawn, and he's just like, I view the Legends character of Thrawn and my canon Thrawn as the same character.
Yeah.
And
I
the differences that we see between the novels and Rebels is easily explained by who's telling the story.
hmm
What perspective are we supposed to have here? And
and
it's so important.
I will say this, meeting Timothy Zahn at AwesomeCon was like one of the highlights of my podcasting career.
I want to meet
He's
him so bad.
he's such a nice freaking guy. He's so nice. And like we talked
I
about Lesser Evil and like we talked about Thrawn and he's like Thrawn is not a villain at all.
I don't think so. I talk about Thrawn, and I fully talk about him as he is perpetuating a system that also harms him.
Yeah.
But he thinks that he's doing the right thing because
hmm
he kind of got yoinked into the military industrial complex, and that has shaped his worldview.
Yeah.
I just want to meet Timothy Zahn so I can thank him for writing Thalius
Yep.
because I I don't think anyone can understand how important Thalius is to me.
Yeah. So we had a good discussion.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. We are happy that Bob Iger's back. We're happy that Star Wars is continuing. We speculated about Daisy Ridley. We talked some book stuff. We talked about the Grogu show featuring the Mandalorian coming back on March 1st. Um, we laughed. We cried. So yeah. Real quick before we go, no show next week as we are at Ocean City Comic Con. Well, we meaning my wife and I.
Yeah,
Um,
y'all are.
yes.
I will be tweeting from a medieval event.
There you
So if you
go.
want to see me do medieval things, follow my Twitter and my Instagram.
Yes. And then we will be live tweeting from Ocean City Comic Con. You'll see some videos from that. We'll also be on Instagram, Hive, once that gets back up and running, and possibly our Facebook page. So we have that. And then our final show of the year, folks. Our final live show of the year is going to be on the 17th. And we're going to talk about Ro's favorite movie, The Last Jedi.
Yes, I'm so sorry I can't be there, but graduation is more
Yeah,
important.
it's all good. I'm going to have I'm going to have Ira and Rachel with me.
Oh, y'all are gonna have some great conversation.
I I I can't wait. Ira is like Ira loves The Last Jedi. I mean, I do too. I think it's a great freaking movie. But it's
I
going to be fun.
I love The Last Jedi. I'm just like I don't like the one thing it introduced, which was Ray and Ben as a
Oh,
couple.
Raylo.
I am not a Raylo, no.
It's fine.
I do not see how someone can ship a pairing when the first interaction between two characters is a metaphor for sexual assault. That's
Yeah,
my
that's true.
standing on it.
Why is All right, we gotta go so that I can get
Yes.
Pickle out of a plastic bag, my cat. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be hanging out in our voice chat here in about 5 to 10 minutes. If anybody wants to hang out and you're in our Discord server,
I will
um,
probably be there too.
yes. So let me rescue Pickle and say goodnight to the wife. And I'll be in voice chat. But that's it for us this week. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for our last live show of the year. Uh, until then, may the force be with you. May you always fight for light and life. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. We love you.